I'm humbled by this experience, actually.
Humbled?
Yes, I'm humbled. Like, the world is big, man. Because I thought I know everything about these speakers, but listening at my home, this just completely opened my eyes. All right, so I am at the High Five Cave with Loic today. I dropped by to check out the Zen Master from Lii-Song. And they were actually at my place for a while. And I'm going to answer the question right away. Are they a copy of the Decware something? Decware what?
The Zen Masters, specifically the ZF15M.
And yes, they are. They're a copy of the Decware speaker, but with Steve's permission. So I had these speakers at my place for a while. And the reason why I want to try here is because Loic is a master at setting up single driver speakers, full range driver speakers. And I also wanted to try it with different gears here. He has gears that are tailored for this kind of speaker. Before we begin, I want to say the problem with full range driver speakers is that people might not have the right expectations for them. And you know, I listened to them at my place already, and even then, when I come over and listen, I'm in awe and I'm shocked. And I'm humbled by the experience today because it tells me, wow, the world is really big. Just when I thought I knew everything about stereo, everything about full-range driver speakers, because I tried them with many different amps at my place, and I gave it, 6 on 10, 7 on 10. But when I come listen to it here today, I gave it 9, 10, 11 on 10, because it does something very special at Loic's place that it does not do at my place. It's unfortunate. I think a lot of people don't get the chance to listen to single driver at its full potential. Because, you plug it to a Macintosh, you plug it to even TS-875, you're not hearing what they're really capable of. I remember this YouTuber. He got a pair of single driver, full range driver speakers. Long story short, he built a box for it, and he hated it. He hated it with a passion.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yes. And he had to EQ it.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's right. If you don't set it up properly, if you don't build those speakers properly, like Loic did like gazillion iteration building these speakers to get it right. That's the problem. A lot of people don't realize if you don't pair it with the correct amplifier and blah, 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 they can sound shouty and they can have no bass at all. So I'm going to let Loic start first by talking about the bass. Because what I noticed at my home, there's no bass. And that was a big disappointment for me because you look at that baffle, they're so big and you're like, okay, they should have a bit of bass. And there's no bass. But there's a reason why they don't have bass. And I also noticed that at my home. And then I came over here, we tested with different amps, and then we go like, okay, yeah. So I'll leave it to you, Loic, to talk about the bass then.
So did you hear bass in here in this room?
Oh, yeah. Okay, look, it's not going to be like one of those like 15-inch woofers that will shake the room and so forth. But you have adequate bass. Like the song Birds, for example. You'll never feel like you're missing bass. And it feels like it does go really low. And that's one of the biggest complaints with single driver speaker. I'll call it single driver. I know it's full range. There's no bass. That's the biggest complaint. But today, when I listen to this, there's adequate bass.
Yeah, 100% there's adequate bass. But it's more on the realism side.
Mm-hmm.
There's no exaggeration here. Like, if you play electronic music, you're going to be disappointed by this type of driver. If you're listening to real instruments, they sound closer to real instruments in real life.
Yeah.
From that track, Poem of Chinese Drums, which I think every audiophile has heard. Very satisfying, very deep, very low. Look, if we want to get technical, I really don't think personally that these are digging down much more than 40 hertz. There's definitely nothing in the 20 hertz range.
I don't feel like, damn it, I want to add a subwoofer to it. I don't have that kind of feeling. Rather, I'm more impressed with the texture of the bass, the texture of the drums. I'm like, wow, I didn't know single driver speakers can do this. Because my own speakers, I'll hear it, but I have to focus to hear it, quote unquote. Relative to this, it's like it just comes naturally. All that texture and so forth.
But you're also getting no gaps, right, between your frequency ranges, because you don't have multiple drivers here that are spreading the load, and there's no crossover. It's directly connected to the amplifier. So sometimes you get these little gaps between a frequency response between the drivers. Not always. Good speakers, you don't. You shouldn't. But you do sometimes. Because if you have gaps in the sound because the drivers are separating the work, if it's not done really well, you're going to have those gaps, which are going to remove some of those textures and some of those elements that you felt here.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, but I do want to set the correct expectations because, see, for me today, this is an experience. And why? Because it's different than everything else that I've listened to before, right? Well, of course, I have experience with single driver speakers. And yet, despite that, today when I came here, I was like, wow, the first note is the intimacy of the singer is just off the charts, man. But there's a but to it. And maybe you can talk about that cryotone thing there, man.
The conditioner?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Well, nobody knows what it is. Should I go pick it up?
Oh, just put it on the screen.
We'll
B-roll it or
all
something.
Right, all right.
Yeah.
It's way easier to B-roll than me walking over there and picking it up, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. You're comparing 8 seconds of work, then now you're gonna give me 28 minutes of work because now I have to film it, I have to transfer. Anyways,
you have it somewhere, man.
I do. So the bass is very satisfying, great texture, very much on the realism side. I would call it linear. Even the bass is more on the, I guess I would say more on the neutral side. It's not bloated. It's not big. It doesn't go through your chest, but it's very satisfying and there is a presence in the room. What's great, however, is how it transfers into the lower mids and the mids. That's beautiful, especially when it comes to like the guitars and voices like Dominique Filzeme that we listen to the track Birds. There's so many layers of vocals on her tracks, but they're at different octaves.
Okay.
And you get a really good sense and feel of the presence of her behind her microphone with these things, because there's no gaps. There's no information missing.
All right. So now if you just listen to Loic describe it, you're going to be like, whoa, these are the greatest speakers ever. I'm going to rush out and buy them, right? So let me ask you a question then. Yet why did that YouTuber, I'll put his whatever up again, why did he complain that it sucks? Think about that. Because I agree with him. If I were in his room and I listened to those single driver speakers that he built, I 100% agree with him. And in fact, other YouTubers have also made comments on single driver speakers where they are like, meh, you know. So why?
It's not the same approach.
For me, there are two things, okay? And I noticed that at my home, because everything that I listen to at my home is like, meh, you know, until I brought out this little 8-watt or whatever watt Lii-Song tube amp, and when I put it on, I'm like, how come there's bass now? So that's when I had this theory that the more power you give it, the less bass you get. Of course, you know, it's just just my experience. So that's why I came over today to Loic's place. So we try 4-watt power amp. That's my new upcoming tube integrated amp. We try a 10-watt Class A amp. That's my new 10-watt solid-state amp that's coming from Fabienne. And then we try another 80-watt power amp, right? So if I take normal speakers, 80 watt will give you a decent bass. That one I know. And yet in today's experiment, yeah.
Both words apply.
Okay.
You're good.
The 4-watt and the 10-watt gave the most satisfying presentation and bass.
Yes.
The 80-watt one were like, you know, it's thin. The bass is thin. So that's why that's the first condition. The amplifier you choose must be very careful. So maybe that's why Decware with that 2 watts amp sounds amazing with these speakers. And I heard these with Decware's 300B amps, right? It sounds great. But once you start trying like 100 watts, 200 watt Class D amps on it, maybe that's why a lot of people don't get the chance to hear their full potential. Because, you know, how many people have 4 watts, 2 watts amp lying around?
Well, even if you use, so when you use 3-way tower speakers that are super sensitive, Klipsch.
Yeah.
Klipsch is a great example.
Sure.
You put giant amounts of watts on a Klipsch speaker.
Yeah.
They kind of sound a little bright and shouty.
Oh, okay.
And they're not a full range single driver, but they're very high in sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So here you have two factors going against the high power amp. The full range driver itself. So one cone doing the full frequency range. So that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Two, these are high sensitivities. They're 95 or 97 dB
Okay.
and they're 8 ohm. So when you add a lot of current on them, they get overwhelmed.
Yeah. So that's why there's these single driver speakers have this reputation that they can get very shouty. All you get is just a mid-range shouty and no bass, no highs or whatever. And that's true if you use high power amp with it. You try with my monoblocks, right? My 100 watt class A. I have these monoblocks made.
And you notice I haven't made a video on them?
Yeah.
And they're not here anymore?
Yeah.
I don't have the setup for it.
Mm-hmm. And they don't work well with these speakers, right? So I guess my point today, after all this, is to let people know that these speakers can be amazing if you understand, if your expectation is correct, and also if you have the right gear to drive it.
Low watts, you're right, 100%. The other factor I find that plays also is the type of amplification, single-ended versus a push-pull.
Mm-hmm.
Push-pull has a tendency to want to overwhelm these. So even if you get a push-pull that's like 40 or 50 watts, they won't sound as good as a single-ended amplifier.
So you try with the TS120 SE, which is a 30 watt class A push-pull amp, right? And against a 4 watt or a 10 watt. Which one had more bass?
But your TS20, even when I have it in class A, it's a push-pull.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It doesn't give out as much bass as a low watt amp with these.
I see. So as you can see, like the TS120 SE is known as a bass monster with regular speaker, but in this case, the 4 watt amp just beat it.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And the second thing when you deal with these single driver speakers is that the construction is very important. So you can't just arbitrarily just put it in a box and hope it sounds good.
No, and the other factor that everyone has to consider, so low watts, preferably single-ended. I guess Class A is also a little bit better than Class AB. I have yet to find a proper Class D that sounds amazing with these drivers, because Class D, generally speaking, is not low watts.
Okay.
The other issue, if there's noise, let me ask you, at one point today when we were playing around with the cables and everything, what happens when there's noise in your system?
Yeah, you'll hear it like overwhelmingly. Like,
yeah.
That's very noisy.
That's very noisy.
That's just the capacitor problem. But this today, when I listened to this in this setup specifically, it was like, wow, this is an experience. However, to achieve this experience today, we had to use that cryogen thing there.
Cryotone.
Cryotone? Why did I say cryogen? Okay, cryotone. Yeah,
it's a cryotone conditioner.
Okay. So recently, Loic made a video on that cryotone conditioner. It's the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. Me, I'm like,
that's not what I said. I said it's the second component that I've come across that is not leaving my system.
Okay, the second thing, best thing since sliced bread.
Don't exaggerate.
So when I came here and I listened to it, when we first power it up, he had it in the system, and it's the first second, the mid-range, the voice, the intimacy, the singer coming straight out my face caught my attention. It blew me away. And then I say, look, man, I want to hear the system, without that cryotone, without the preamp, just connect directly. And then it's like, okay, it's okay. That it was like 2 levels down without that cryotone.
Without the cryotone conditioner.
Because the synergy was fantastic with that 4 watt amp, so much so that, like, oh my gosh, it's like, just take my money, go out and buy it.
So when you first sat down,
yeah,
the full system was part of the chain. So my preamp, the super rectifier, the conditioner. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I was recording you.
Oh, okay.
So but this is your reaction.
Yeah. Shit, it's actually pretty good.
Oh, it's good.
In my hair. It's 10 times better than at my home. Why?
What do you mean 10 times better?
It sounds better than at my home.
You mean these speakers?
Yeah. The voice and everything. Right, that realism. I don't get this at my home. Not even close, man.
Okay, Okay. From there, then we said, okay, let's remove the fancy components out of my system where it's the DAC straight to the little amplifier. It's an integrated amplifier. That's where you said, whoa, okay, the air feels like it's gone. It doesn't have that same intimacy anymore either. Then we said, okay, let's find out what the tube conditioner actually was bringing to the mix. And then we plugged only the tube conditioner between the DAC and your amplifier. My preamp was not in there. And
there you go. For me, it was like 90% there. You're playing the same ballpark, same sandbox.
So much so that we said if we had a choice right now to say, do we spend money and buy my preamp, which is expensive, or do we buy the Proton tube conditioner, which is about $2,000? Hands down, tube conditioner. Because the impact was amazing. And it's simple. Like a preamp, there's work, especially if it's a preamp with 6 tubes like I have. You're going to want a tube roll. You're going to want to tailor it to your taste. Conditioner is plug in, plug out, turn it on. Nothing to do.
But here's the thing, though. If you didn't have that cryotone thing, I might not have been blown away by what these speakers can do. So that tells me that, the speakers have the potential. As long as you have the right amazing gear to go with it, it will blow you away. But you also have to have different expectations. Don't think of it as what is a Serving Vega speaker with tons of boom, boom, boom bass. It's not that kind. All right. You're not supposed to get an A curve, meaning that a shouty mid-range with no bass, no top end. You're not supposed to get that. If you get the right amplification to it, it's somewhat linear actually. So there's zero shoutiness in the mid-range. So these speakers for $2,000, plus get yourself an amazing matching low power single-ended Class A amp. Man, for some of you, this is endgame. Fair enough to say that? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Especially if your music genres are like singer, songwriter, vocals. You're not going to electronic music or heavy metal or that kind of stuff. It's even good with classical. I like it with classical.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. Depending on the size of classical you're a fan of. 100-piece orchestra with giant amounts of bass in the crescendos, they're not going to bring the concert level of bass. It won't happen. But like more intimate classical setups, beautiful.
All right, that's it. I think that's about it, right?
There's nothing complex to this except the fact that they're bulky and heavy.
Oh, they're beautiful though. They're like piano glossy finish, $2,000.
And the Lii-Song models are on MDF. I mean, yes, the Decware versions are significantly more expensive, but you're talking about a full real wood panel made by hand, so on and so forth. It's a different artistic piece.
All right. With that, I'll see you guys next time then.